Thomas Jefferson's Monticello plantation in Virginia is considered a national landmark today. Despite the vast documentation surrounding the property, none pointed to the secrets that were recently uncovered there. Thanks to determined archaeologists, a long-buried scandal involving Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings, his servant, finally came to light. Jefferson moved into the White House in 1801 as the third U.S. president, but long before that, he lived at Monticello, a sprawling estate gifted by his father where he cultivated wheat and tobacco. In 2017, a discovery on the property changed everything historians thought they knew. It shed light on a controversial chapter in American history, Jefferson's relationship with Sally Hemings. Sally was one of Jefferson's servants and appeared unusually close to him. While there had been rumors for centuries, no concrete evidence of their connection existed until modern science and archaeological findings provided undeniable proof. Born in 1773, Sally Hemings was the daughter of John Wales, Thomas Jefferson's father-in-law, and Betty Hemings. She arrived at Monticello as a baby and worked as a seamstress and chambermaid. There were no portraits of her, but she was described by contemporaries as light-skinned and very handsome. At age 14, Sally accompanied Jefferson's daughters to Paris, where Jefferson, then a widower in his 40s, grew close to her. She became pregnant in France and returned to Monticello in 1789. Over time, she gave birth to 6 children, 4 of whom survived to adulthood and were eventually freed by Jefferson. The relationship remained hidden from public record until 1802, when Jefferson's political opponent published allegations of the affair. Jefferson's family dismissed the rumors, and Jefferson never recorded the children's father in his personal farm book. Historians and the public debated the controversy for nearly 2 centuries. In 1998, a major breakthrough came when DNA testing confirmed that Jefferson was the father of at least one of Sally's children. This scientific revelation validated long-standing oral histories and reopened the case in the eyes of scholars. But the story didn't end there. In 2017, as part of a restoration project at Monticello, archaeologists conducted extensive digs on the south wing of the main house. Their goal was to reconstruct the original layout, but what they uncovered went far beyond blueprints. Beneath a men's bathroom built in 1941 and expanded in the 1960s, they found something extraordinary: the hidden living quarters of Sally Hemings. Historians had long suspected her room was in the south wing, based on a document from Jefferson's grandson, but the exact location remained unknown for decades. The discovery stunned experts. The 14-foot room still had its original brick floor, fireplace, and hearth untouched for nearly 2 centuries. Despite years of renovations and expansions, no one had realized what lay beneath the bathroom until this moment. This finding not only confirmed Sally's physical place within the Monticello household, but also gave new weight to her story and legacy. For years, she had remained a figure shrouded in speculation, often ignored or diminished in historical narratives. Now, her room stood as physical proof of her presence and proximity to Jefferson. The rediscovery of Sally Hemings' living space, alongside scientific and historical evidence, helped rewrite a chapter of American history, bringing clarity to a story hidden for too long. It gave voice to a woman whose legacy had been buried for centuries, restoring her to her rightful place in the narrative of Monticello and the nation. Interestingly, the newly discovered room of Sally Hemings was located right next to Thomas Jefferson's own bedroom, raising questions that could no longer be dismissed as coincidence. The proximity, along with DNA evidence from the 1990s, gave historians solid proof. Jefferson was indeed the father of Hemings' children. Fraser Neiman, head archaeologist at Monticello, called it a real connection to the past, as the room revealed artifacts and features long buried. Gardner Halleck, director of restoration, added, "Some of Sally's children may have been born in this room. It shows her as a human being, a mother, daughter, and sister." Historians believe Sally returned from France only after Jefferson promised her that her children would be freed. Indeed, Jefferson freed all 4 of her surviving children, something he did for no other enslaved family. Despite this, Sally remained a slave all her life and worked on the estate like others. While her room's location near Jefferson's private quarters signaled intimacy, it was far from comfortable. The windowless space was dark and small, possibly hidden to erase her presence. Later, a bathroom was constructed over it, seen by many as a symbolic attempt to bury her memory. Now, Monticello historians are restoring Sally's room and preparing to open it to the public. The exhibit will include period artifacts such as ceramics and toothbrushes, helping humanize her story. This is part of the $35 million Mountaintop Project, aimed at telling the full story of Monticello, including the lives of its enslaved workers and especially the Hemings family. For the first time, we have a physical space dedicated to Sally Hemings, said Mia Magruder-Damon, Monticello's spokeswoman. It connects the African-American arc at Monticello. Curators now integrate her life into Jefferson's narrative, showing not just the mystery but the humanity behind it. Historian Nia Bates noted the exhibit helps portray Sally outside the lens of scandal and rumor. She was a mother, a sister, an ancestor, Bates said, and this room gives her presence. Monticello's portrayal has changed dramatically once. Sally Hemings wasn't even mentioned on tours. That silence has now been broken. By 1993, during Jefferson's 250th birthday, her story was added to exhibits. In time, descendants of enslaved workers were invited to Monticello, finally able to connect with their roots. In 2015, the focus expanded beyond Sally. A restaurant named Mulberry Row was created to honor the central street where enslaved workers once lived. It included reconstructed dwellings and became a space of remembrance. More than 100 descendants joined in a tree-planting ceremony to honor their ancestors. The curators now emphasize telling a wider story, not just Jefferson's, but the lives of all who lived at Monticello. Yet not all descendants feel the same. Gail Jessup White, Sally's great-great-great-great-niece and Monticello's community engagement officer, expressed mixed feelings. Jefferson was a slaveholder, she said, but for too long, our history has been ignored. She acknowledged that some visitors resist the message, but many are now more receptive. We want communities of color to become our partners, she added, noting an uptick in African-American visitors since these efforts began. Still, questions remain. Jefferson documented hundreds of slaves but left behind little about their lives as individuals. Modern descendants have stepped in, helping fill the gaps through gatherings and oral histories. In 2008, historian Annette Gordon-Reed published The Hemingses of Monticello, a groundbreaking book chronicling the family's story over generations. Her research brought new depth to the Hemings legacy, confirming their impact on American history. Of Sally's 6 children, 4 survived: Eston, Madison, Beverly, and Harriet. 3 chose to live in white society. Madison, however, left a memoir offering invaluable insight. Beverly and Harriet reportedly married wealthy white men in Washington, while Eston embraced his heritage by changing his last name to Jefferson. Their story, once hidden in shadows, is now being told.